Hey y'all, it's 16-Bit Gambit coming to you with another video, and today what we're going to do is we're going to add a display into the game that shows character stats, and we're going to populate that with some new stats that we're going to add to the character, and we're also going to go ahead and have it update the stamina value. As a follow-up to this video, we're also going to go ahead and use that stamina to limit our ability to run and our ability to attack. In a way, creating a cooldown requirement for the character, but give you something to look forward to. Anyway, so diving straight into it, what I'm going to do to keep a cleaner screen is I'm going to turn off the visibility for the enemy and minimize that one in the table of contents. And now I'm going to zoom out real quick and minimize the character. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a control. Then I'm going to add a sprite. And in this sprite, which is going to be the center of my display, real quick I'm going to turn on the camera so I can see what I'm working with area-wise. I'm going to go click on the sprite and then go to my sprites I've already made from previous projects and go map icons. Drag in my character. Now I'm going to grab the control and bring it down here into the visible field, but real quick I'm going to click on sprite and go to offset and turn off centering. Control down into the visible field. And now I'm going to add a 9-patch rec. To 9-patch rec, I'm once again going to go to my sprites that I've made from previous projects. By the way, if y'all are interested, I'll probably find somewhere to share some of these for you to use if you want to work along. Probably better than having to expect y'all to make them on your own or use what you've already got available if you got something. So I'll go ahead and throw in window option 1, I'll zoom in real quick, and then I'll adjust the patch margin 3, 3, 3, and 3. Now I'll grab just this 9-patch rec, drag it over to the side, and I'll take a look at the size real quick. 40 by 40. Yeah, I won't mess with that one for right now. So on top of that 9-patch rec, I'm going to add a label to keep it simple. And I'm going to add HP, next, stand, and I'm going to go to theme overrides. I'm going to go to font sizes, turn that on. I'm going to set it at a 9. Then I'm going to go to transform, which is under layout, and I'm going to adjust the scale to 0.4, which is too small. 0.6, yeah, 0.6 will be just fine. Now I'm going to go back to the character in the table of contents. I'm going to drag that HP bar over to the 9-patch rec, and I'm going to zero it out. I'm going to make this one 39 by 4. It's a little bit too wide. Let's go ahead and stretch out the 9-patch. Progress bar. Label. Progress bar. Alright, cool. So real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3 more progress bars. These you can probably tell from the context clues. Experience bar. In between them, making sure to click back up on 9-patch rec so I don't accidentally create a child node. Stamina bar. power bar. And real quick, I'm going to reformat all these ones the same I did the earlier one. Turn off show percentage. Back to the top. Layout, minimum size 39.4. Layout 39.4. Layout 39.4. Back to the top. Theme overrides. Styles, we're going to give it the background. New style box flat. Fill, new style box flat. For the background, I'm going to turn off draw center. Border width 1, 1, 1, 1 for left, top, right, bottom. And for expand margins, I'm going to expand by 1, 1, 1, 1. Going down to the fill, we're going to go ahead and make experience some sort of green. Yeah, that's good enough for now. And we're going to repeat this process for the other two. Once I go up, I just give some dummy values. So max 5, value 4. For the next one, max 5, value 3. Going down to theme overrides. Going to give it a new style box flat for the background, new style box flat for the fill. I'm going to be thinking about this one like the border for it. So once again, border width 1, 1, 1, 1. Expand margins 1, 1, 1, 1. Clicking on the fill for stamina. I guess I'll make stamina blue. Oh. A little bit more blue so you can differentiate. Cool. And that should be good. Now clicking over here for POW. Max value 5, value 2. Theme overrides. Style. New style box flat for the background, which I'm going to use as a boundary. Style box flat for the fill. Clicking on the background, turn off draw center. Border width 1, 2, 3, 4 for ones and all those, left, top, right, bottom. Expand margin 1, 1, 1, 1. Now I'm creating the fill. I'm going to make this one yellow. Kind of thinking like a lightning bolt sort of deal. Brighten it up a little bit. And now I'm going to go ahead and click the select or the mouse icon option for the experience bar and shrink it as much as it'll let me. Go ahead and grab the other guys and move them out of the way. So experience bar, next experience, stamina bar. I may switch those. I may have played a little bit too much Dark Souls and Elden Ring. I'll save that for later. And power bar. Shrink it down. Mess with the zoom just a little bit more and shrink those guys. I'll mess with that stuff later. Okay, so we've got the basics of the controls. We can see the values, and we've got nodes for all the bars. So what we're going to go ahead and do next is we're going to go ahead and right click on control, and we're going to make this a template node. So when you right click on the control in the table of contents, which real quick, I'm going to change the name of this one to map display. I'm going to click away. Now I'm going to say save branch as scene. I'll save that one into my scenes folder. And display with the same name. I'll copy that real quick. Save. And I'll go ahead and in my file folders, I'll open up map display by itself. And then I'll add a script to that control. So right here, the add script button, click. I'm going to put that into my scripts folder, and I'm going to give it the exact same name, capitalization, as the scene or the node itself. Okay, cool. So I already went ahead and I did a practice of this one on a separate project, so we can be pretty quick with the code since we're at the 10-minute mark. See if I can get in again at under 20. So the first stuff that we're going to feed into this script is going to be declaring those bars, or those progress bars, to make them variables. So if I was to do this manual, I'd type on ready var, and then whatever I want to name them, I'm going to keep it simple and short instead of putting too much into the variable name. So HP bar, as you can see above, equals, and then if you're doing this on your own, you just come over here and drag the progress bar. But you can see that since I didn't change the name or customize the 9-patch rec name, all those should be good unless I'm lining myself to embarrass myself in a few minutes. So the bars are declared. We're going to add a value, so when we open this on its own, we can kind of use it as a testing. So we got at export var mode, which is going to be a string. And now if I was to click up here on the map or map display, I've got this field that previously wasn't there on the inspector node, and I can type in test. If you end up using a node as a template node or a scene as a template scene to create multiple characters, multiple map displays, you get multiple characters on the screen at the same time, you can feed informations into copies of those nodes. But if I open the node by itself, then I need an if statement to say if it's opened without those characters, or if it's open and I'm putting in this test mode value here, then it'll default to some of the values I'm going to put in just to test to make sure that those bars change their values or update. So the next variables I'm going to be putting in are going to be my test display values. So I've got max HP integer, HP integer, next level integer, experience integer, max stamina, stamina, max power, and power. Now I'm going to add a couple of additional items real quick, which those may end up getting gutted later on. Until I see the full scope of this project, and the idea being I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible and have real purposes for all the scripts or all of the scenes that I'm working with. Initially, or at least for these test values, just to illustrate the stamina bar updating and collecting values over time, I've got this if statement that says if we're not running, if we're not attacking, to add value to the stamina bar. But once this is back underneath the character node, that's going to be handled in there, because it's going to be the character node, character stats, controlling the character, all that one. Trying to avoid spaghetti code. And then ultimately the only communication between the character node and this node is just going to be calling for it to update those bars with values from the character and eventually the character class. So moving on, I'm also going to go ahead, I'm going to add a custom signal to this script, to this node. So display initialized. When I was doing my practice run, the problem was the character node would initialize and would call for this one to update those bars before this one was done initializing. So what I did was I added this custom signal, which is going to emit on the ready function to let the character node that we're ready to update those bars for the first time. If you got questions about any of this stuff, I've been told that sometimes I mumble and I talk fast, so feel free to put the questions or the comments into the comments below, and I'll try to get to you. The sooner you leave a comment compared to when this video releases, the more likely I'm going to be to respond back to you. So, under the ready function, we're going to add our first statement, which is going to treat this differently when we're in our test mode. So if mode equals test, run the update bars function, which we're going to write in a second. Also, on the ready function, once we're up and running, emit signal display initialized, which I actually can do that better. So I'm going to cancel that or comment that guy out for now. And then under the process, which is going to be just running every fraction of a second. Should probably look that one up so I could talk a bit more about process and physics process. I'm going to add the if statement for test that's going to update the stamina bar. So if mode equals test and run is false, and attack equals false, stamina bar value plus equals 0.1. So whenever I do a test run of this node or this scene and I press play and I start recording, if I can start recording fast enough, you'll see that the stamina bar is just increasing its value until it gets to the max. Yeah. And then the last function that I'm going to add in here is going to be the update bars function that we're going to call whenever we would like to update those bar values. So function update bars. It is made to accept character data from a node, but when you're calling it without that character data, it defaults to null. If character has a value, testing value right there for myself, print calls character. Then HP bar dot max value equals character dot max HP. HP bar value equals character HP. Experience bar max equals next level. Experience bar equals experience. Stamina bar max stam. Stam bar dot value equals stamina. Max value for power bar max power. Power bar value equals character power. Otherwise calls character, so that's wrong. Test mode. HP bar dot value defaults to these values up here for all the bars. So what I'm going to try to do real quick is I will stop recording in just a second, then re-record as soon as I turn this node on. So let's see if it works the first time. Okay, and you should now see the stamina bar filling up over time, which is going to kind of help us for our cooldown functionality. Without stamina, you won't be able to run or attack. Okay, so we've got this node ready to go and re-add to the map platformer. So I'm going to click after saving, Control Save, go back over to the platform, zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to remove this one, re-add it. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but okay, now we're going to update the script inside the character in order to call to this. One last thing real quick is I'm going to click back on this script, and since I added this custom signal, I'm going back over to the node and display initialized. Right now I'm doing it manually. This is something that in different situations you can actually do inside the code if you add nodes while the code is running. Okay, so I'm going back over to character. I'm first going to scroll up, starting top to bottom, and I'm going to update those character stats. So the new character stats, I'm going to break them up into the bar stats and then these additional ones, and in the next video I'm going to add these things to a character class and then define this character in the class. It's not needed right now, but if you add additional characters, it'll allow you to create functions that instead of being hard-coded to one single character, can handle multiple characters, just who you're adding at the time. So here's all those values. I'm going to set the initial stamina to 0 so I got a bit more time whenever I start recording. Okay, now scrolling down, I'm going to get rid of the health bar because that's all going to be handled inside the map display. I'm going to change the ready function back to a pass for now. I'm going to delete the bars functionality or the update bars functionality, and the last thing I'm going to do is whenever I triple clicked on the signal from map display, At the very bottom of this is another connection. So function on map display, display initialized. Sorry guys, it's a little bit repetitive. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this functionality, and I got to go back up and define the display. Whoop. So back to the top. That on ready bar display. If I end up with multiple things that are displays, then obviously I have to make a more complicated name. But for right now, it works pretty well. So I'm going to drag this one over here. And now we've got the variable defined. And in the function on map display, display initialized, which is called from the display script, display.update bars, and I'm sending self, which right now, because we're inside the character script, has the character data. At a later date, once I create the character class, I'll need to add a function where when everything's first starting up, character data is copied inside this node. But that can be for a later day. So hopefully this works the first time. I'm going to start recording now. So as you can see, a little bit of funky stuff with the camera, but we've now got the stamina bar filling up. So really quick to address the camera thing, because I'm full screen, I guess I got to set the camera zoom to like 8. Yeah, so it looks like 4 was decent, but if I decide to start running away, which by the way, can't see the enemy right now, but they will interact with me. You notice how that update box right there, or the character status box, it doesn't move with me. And this is something that whenever I was working on this last week, I actually, I never really had to mess with something to address that issue, but it's a super simple fix. Okay, so quick fix to that one is I'm going to go ahead and click Map Platformer. I'm going to add a canvas layer. And that'll make it so that this thing moves along with the view as we're hopping around. Now you see how I dragged this one layer below canvas layer inside of the map layers? So what I need to do real quick is I got to go back to the character script, and I got to change that variable for the map display. Now, no matter what, I know that the zoom is going to be a little bit funky first time around, but for canvas layer, well, let's just see what happens. So nothing in this world is perfect, just due to the zooming that I got, and also in order to record, I need to have it set to full screen. I guess those are variables that as I get this thing closer to finish, I need to figure out how to get it to detect whether it's in full screen versus windowed, and then set the zooms based on that one, or potentially even the coordinates. So right now, outside my skill set, but hey, as I said, I'm learning. I mean, can play around with the proportions. They're never going to be perfect until I figure out how to control for whether we're in full screen or windowed, but that's going to be a problem that I'll solve and I'll share it with you. But I guess the magic number for the zoom right now for the canvas layer was 4. So as I'm moving around to demonstrate, avoiding the invisible enemy, you can see that now I'm followed around by these items. In the next video, what we're going to do is we're at least going to go ahead and do hits to the stamina when you're running or when you're attacking. And then also, if you hit an enemy, it's going to bump up the power by 1, and then if it gets filled all the way, we'll do a power attack. And if we got time, we'll also add a timer to the enemy node. So if it's been a while since the HP changed, then we're going to have the enemy health bar just kind of fade out. That should be good. So that could be a good goal for the next video. Oh, then there's a character class, and then there's smarter enemies. So I got some stuff on my plate. But either way, thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks for being a great audience. If you got questions, comments, criticisms, hopefully constructive, feel free to leave them down below. If you ask within a couple days, I'll try to make sure to get back to you. Also, good news, I have an Instagram account set up for 16-bit Gambit, and it is 16_bit Gambit, and it's at Instagram. And yeah, so come on over, and you'll be able to see a screenshot of the actual concept that I got for this character, and you'll be able to see what they're supposed to look like. But either way, thank you all for watching, and y'all have a great day. Talk to you later.